Welcome to the Win, Make, Give podcast. Chad Hyams here, and I'm flying solo today. That's right. I have ditched Bob, I have ditched Ben, and I have brought someone on who's going to be an amazing guest for you. Folks, you want to get your pens ready, you want to get your paper ready, you want to get wherever you take your notes ready. And if you haven't been through our wealth series, you're going to want to be going through that as well. Check that out, winmakegive.com/wealth, because, well, we're going to be talking with a lady today who's got a book called Power Your Profits. You can be sure we're going to be talking about wealth along the way through this conversation. So please welcome to the Win, Make, Give podcast, Susie Carder. Susie, thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited. This is one of the funnest conversations on the planet. Not everybody loves it, but I promise by the end, you'll be curious and you'll want to leverage and love this conversation. I always say math is money and money is fun. People don't necessarily like the math, but they do love the money part.
I will agree. And it's too bad I ditched Bob, I guess. He's our math expert. Me, I'm just the guy who avoids math as much as possible, but I look forward to this. So, Susie, our audience doesn't necessarily know you. I like to let you do that instead of me pitch who you are. Tell them who you are, what you want them to know about you. Give a little intro to our audience about who is Susie.
Absolutely. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm crazy, right? I've built 10 companies, 2 $10 million companies, 7 multi-million-dollar company, and in there are a couple dismal failures, right? I have 10 books. I have my newest book published by Simon & Schuster called Power Your Profits. My passion is taking complicated issues in the business arena and simplifying it so you get major results. I've traveled all over the world doing this. I'm a little seasoned. I'm spicy, but I'm seasoned. And I love making a difference for my clients, right? There's so many change agents that are doing their heart's work, but not being paid for it. If we're going to do a business, I want you to do your heart's work, do what you were put on this earth to do, and then prosper from that. A business is supposed to provide you opportunity that a job cannot. Right. And most people, 88% of small businesses are making less than $100,000 a year. Only 1.7% of entrepreneurs hit the $1 million mark. That is bananas. It doesn't have to be hard. It just has to be strategic. And I got to tell you, I was one of those ones, the broke ones, just living my passion, serving and not making the money I needed. And went, I got to figure this beast out, because 15% of our financial success is based on our technical ability. The other 85% is the strategy.
I got that math. 15 plus 85 is 100. That I got. Okay, excellent. All right. So you just said you started out different. You were a hairdresser, if I got all my information correct on you. 2 girls, right? At that time, 2 little ones.
2 little girls. My vocation.
Talk about how did you?
That's a big leap.
How did you do hair, manage 2 girls as their mom, and then still be able to turn and start creating through your entrepreneur? How do you do that? Talk to our audience. We got a lot of people who are probably single parents out there or just dealing with crazy schedules. How did you counterbalance your life as you got busier, still have time for the kids, make that all happen?
Well, when I got married young, and my picker, Chad, was off. That's part of being married young, right? And I realized early on that this was not a healthy relationship, right? I just repeated my parents' past. It was verbally abusive, physically abusive. So I left that marriage when my babies were 6 months old and 18 months old. And I left with no child support, no alimony, right? Being a hairdresser. I'd just come off maternity leave, going back into the workforce after 6 months after that baby. And I had a hard reality. Like, there's no money coming in unless I produce. So I had to figure this money thing out fast, right? So I had to really leverage. I had to hustle. I had to go to networking groups. There was no opportunity to be afraid, because I had to pay my rent. I had to pay their daycare. I had to buy groceries. And so that hustle, right? No back door. I call it no back door. So many times we build a business and we have a back door, meaning we have a job or a significant other or family or funds, where it's like, well, I could do this, but this money's too easy. There was no easy money. I had to make it work. I had to go out and hand out flyers. Remember the flyer days? Like, I would go to the mall and hand out flyers. Let's get people in my chair. And so I started figuring it out and made a 6-figure income, started working it a little harder, made $250,000 a year, 3.5 days a week. And Paul Mitchell found me. They said, oh my God, what are you doing? Right. And I was friends with the rep, and I said, I'm building my business. I do referral programs. I just started sharing everything I was doing. which I learned from books. Because in the beginning day, I didn't have any money for education, but I went and found books, right? We didn't have podcasts. We didn't have, webinars. We didn't have YouTube. It was just rogue, go in, get it. And then I started teaching these cluster classes at Paul Mitchell and really teaching them how to grow their business. Because again, 15% of your financial success is the vocation, right? The other 85% is sales, marketing, operations, finance. And because I wasn't good at math, right? In 10th grade, Chad, Mr. Syverson said to me, don't do a job with math. I'm like, okay, first of all, who puts the alphabet in math? Like, come on, let's have a reality break because it was algebra. Don't put alphabet. Like, I deal with numbers or the alphabet, not both.
That's a very good point. I like you very much more right now, Susie.
And so I'm like, okay, I got to figure this out. Like, how do I charge appropriately, right? How do I manage money in, money out? Because I made a lot of money, but honey, I was spending a lot of money. I like my shoes. So realizing, I think the biggest smack in the face was I was in a horrible car accident, broke my leg, broke my ribs, and literally could not work. But I could not work because I did not set up my wealth plan. I was
Right.
money in, money out, spending it as fast as it came in. Right. I didn't have the luxury. I wasn't responsible to save. Let me just be straight. So it doesn't matter where you are in your career, where in your business, it's never too late. And so I had to go back to work and I was cutting hair. And at that time, Paul Mitchell had hired me full time to go teach these cluster classes. So, but I still didn't get paid unless I showed up. Right. So I went back into the salon. I literally had to cut hair on a chair. And then I'd have the chair and scoot around the salon and go wash hair and then scoot back on this little chair, cut some more hair. Right. But I didn't miss a beat. And I realized this is not a way to live. Right. I can't even take care of myself. And I didn't have family to help me, right? My significant other definitely wasn't going to help me. We call him a was-been. He was the was-been. Right? So that's when I started getting fiscally responsible. It wasn't until that day, like literally a truck ran over me. It was a big dually truck ran over my car. And that was the wake up call, right? I believe, to me, it was the cosmic boot. And I think the universe has given us all cosmic boots in our economy right now, where you're at in your business right now. Let's look at how do we make lemonade. Let's look at what's the lesson. My lesson was a hard lesson. I always get these hard lessons. My grandma said,
they're the ones we learn from the best.
My grandma said, Chad, when I got married, she pulled my husband aside and she said, I don't know why you're marrying her. She don't listen. So I'm a little tough nut, right? But that's what makes us unique. So then I started putting together just the wealth strategy of it's great that you make $250,000, Susie, but you don't have money in the savings, right? So I started really putting a strong savings plan together. At that time, I'm 27. Started my first retirement account, really got strategic, really got, okay, I got to figure this thing out. And then people said, Suze, love what you do. Do you have a book? I'm like, no, I don't have a book. I'm just trying to save money now, like one thing at a time. And so enough people said it. I literally thought, Chad, when I wrote my first book, I'd be famous and rich. No, that's not the case. A book is a really good marketing tool and expensive business card, but it's needed, right? It was needed for the credibility. The minute I wrote the book, all of a sudden my credibility went through the roof and I was being hired by companies that just wouldn't hire me before because I didn't have the credibility. So from there, built the largest training and development company in the beauty industry. And we sold that to Ritker's Publishing and Thompson Learning for millions. That was like the best, living the American dream. Now, inside that, I've always had these other businesses. I had this training and development company. We also launched the largest membership site in the beauty industry. We won the top technology award by Microsoft. And I don't know anything about technology. What I did know is there was a need and I filled it. Right. So, and I raised money from other, people always say, raise money from other people's money. Okay. How do you do that? So I went to this millionaires forum because I didn't know how to do that either. Right. That's the great thing about entrepreneurship. No doesn't mean we're not going to do it. No just means let me figure out how to do it. I didn't have back in the day. This is how seasoned I am, y'all. In 1998, a membership website that you can get now for pennies on the dollar cost me $500,000. Because we had to build it from scratch. We had to build the billing from scratch and all the bells and whistles that we wanted from scratch. Now you could use Kajabi or Teachable or any one of the boom. You can have a membership site up and running. But that not back in the day. Not back in the day. Look, I feel old by saying that. But we had to raise money.
You're not that old. Don't worry. We get you on the age thing. We're right here with you. All right. So as you're taking us on this journey, I'm sitting here and I'm taking notes. I've got a few things I want to ask you
Yes.
about and I want to dive into. So one of the things I heard you say in there was you got your lessons from books because there weren't podcasts,
Right.
there weren't these opportunities back then. Okay, so you've written a bunch,
Yes.
but other than your books,
Yes.
what's the one book everybody that's listening should be going on Amazon and ordering today because it was one that really helped you learn the lessons or take that next step along the way?
The first book I'm going to recommend it's a classic. I'm sure everybody knows what it is. And if you haven't read it in a long time, you got to read it again, which is Michael Gerber's E-Myth. That book changed my life. Because again, I was
Okay.
realizing as I'm laying in my bed, not being able to work, to go, how do you create a business? Because I own a job, right? I had
Yep.
to be there to produce money. So I took that book and modeled my business after that. I created SOP, standard operating procedures, for everything we did. The only reason I was able to sell my business for millions is because I had a SOP for everything. How to fold towels. There was an SOP. I know that sounds silly, right? Your budgets. How much do you spend in marketing? What's the budget for that? How much do you spend in salaries? What's the budget for that? How do you do our marketing campaign? How are we tracking that? Right? How are we doing our sales? What's the sales script? What's the invitation? Every single thing. And that book changed the trajectory of my life because I realized that people want the it. They don't want the idea or concept. I want the it. What is the it that I need? So I would bring these SOPs to show in my trainings, here's what you need to build. And they're like, can I buy that? Now, I'm going to tell on myself, Chad. This was my pricing strategy. Remember, Mr. Syverson said, don't do anything that has math in it. I didn't know.
Right.
And most entrepreneurs do this too. They go, so they wanted this, it's a Bible, right? It's a huge 350-page manuscript on running a multi-million dollar salon and spa. I'm like, wow,
Okay.
how much will you pay for that? That was my pricing strategy. And then I wasn't selling it. And they're like, well, we would pay at least $1,200. I'm like, sold. How many of you want it? They raised their hand. I came home with $30,000. And my partner was like, what did you sell? I sold this. I said, but I told them we had a 12-week production time because we didn't have it. And I said, listen, I have
Right.
all my name in it, my salon's name, my stuff in it. You got to change it. They're like, we don't care. We want it. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Like that's rogue selling, right? And that
Absolutely. And
was
good for you to take that product, that sawdust from the lumber mill, and being able to say, "Hey, this is something I've already got already. What can I turn that into? How can I sell it?" So everybody listening, there's something
something.
that is your sawdust to your lumber mill, your standard operating procedure Bible, your something that you're doing that why aren't you selling it on the side?
Right, that people are just
Absolutely.
willing to pay for it to shorten their learning curve, right? We shave 10 years off your life by giving you the it. Like, oh no, no, here, use this, just modify it for you. And been doing that for 30 years, right? So we went to
Mm,
this millionaires forum, and this I'm still running the training and development company, the membership company, right? And going to teach at this millionaire forum because what I realized is they were teaching us to raise money, but they weren't teaching people to be the steward of the money, to build a business. They were
mm,
just teaching, go get $1 million. Well, these people are
sure.
going to lose $1 million. Like, is anybody else seeing this? Because I'm seeing this. You're not teaching these people how to be business people. So I went to the founder and I said, look, you're not teaching these people how to be business people. They're going to fail. He's like, great. Why don't you teach it? I'm like, oh, no, I don't know anything about those businesses. He's like, Susie, you'll be great. You run a multi-million dollar company. You'll be great. I'm like, I don't know that business. And sure enough, I spoke and people came up to me, Susie, we'd love to hire you. I'm like, I don't know anything about your business. Sometimes God knocks, right? And you're like, what is that annoying sound? I kept pushing it away, Chad. I kept going, no, no, I don't know anything about your business, Chad. And then I had this brilliant epiphany in the middle of the night. I'm like, I know what I'll do. I'll charge them double and they won't want to sign up because it'll be too expensive. Nah, that strategy didn't work. They all raised their hand and said, yes, pick me. So I coached some crazy businesses in my time. And business is business is business. There's certain cost of goods, there's formulas for every single business. So again, it's like seeing the opportunity. I promise you guys, money's all around you. It's not just me. I have the ability to take my blinders off. I might have been scared, right? You might be scared. You might not know how to do it. Do it anyway, right? Feel the fear and do it anyway and go get counsel. I was smart enough. I was in that class to raise money because I didn't know how to do that, right? I've always had coaches in my life because I don't know what I don't know. And who's going to help me shave those 10 years off my learning curve? Because that's expensive learning time. right?
Yep.
So opportunities all around you. Just listen for the knock.
Listen for the knock. That's right. Because how many times do you just say, "What's that sound?" and you just walk away from it? Very, very good point there. Okay, you've talked about again a few things in here, and I want to ask you right near the beginning. You talked about all the successes you've had in the different businesses that you've built, but you did mention there were some failures along the way,
Huge.
and we can't ignore failure because we know that it's only truly a failure if you don't learn from it. So give us some of the lessons that came from some of your failures along the way that you were able to therefore correct and maybe save our audience some of those failures from happening.
Ooh, it's going to be a money one. I'm going to tell you my biggest failure that I never want to share, right? It's one of those things. I say it's the gift that's wrapped in sandpaper. Like,
Ooh,
it's a gift when you get on the other side, but in the middle of it, it hurts. And so
okay.
I don't know if y'all remember 2006, 2007. We were in a whole nother collapse, and we were in a
Yes.
financial collapse. Chad, I was living the dream. I was vacationing. I had my dream home. I had a putting green in my backyard. I had a guest
Mhm.
house. I had a playground for children I did not even have because someday I will be a grandparent. It was like this home was 5,000 square feet. I had a beautiful wine cellar. Guests could come. I had a guest house, right? Living the dream. We had properties. We were property investors. It's always been one of my wealth strategies. And then 2007 hit.
Right.
What seemed like a dream turned into a nightmare. What seemed like overnight, it took a couple years, right? But I was heavily leveraged in real estate. And when the market flipped, I flipped. My portfolio flipped. My marriage of 17 years, that this man said, "I'm your ride or die, I will never leave you," left. The shame
Yep.
around losing your fortune, your wealth. We lost about $10 million in assets overnight.
Wow.
And I remember Chad being on the floor just crying, and not like a pity party, but crying to go, I've done everything right. Right. I had my checklist. I had my coaches. I followed the coaching. I did what I thought was right. And I got smacked and I got handed to me. And that, then the second thing is my marriage of 17 years, this man who said, "I will never leave you," left. It was the biggest smack, right? The rug was pulled out from under me. And I remember on the
Hmm.
floor just bawling, and I heard this voice inside my head. I'll call it God. You can call it whatever you want. And he said, "I will never leave you, and I will never forsake you. Get up. This will be your biggest victory and your biggest lesson. You know what to do. Get up." And so, I had to get up, pull my big girl panties on, and go, you know what? What I do know is I know money. What I do know is how to build a business. And so I had 2 clients at that time because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm never not doing something. To me, it was my give back. It was like, "Oh, this is fun." So one was Lisa Nichols. She's one of the most sought out teachers from The Secret. The second one was John Assaraf. He owned a training and development company and a franchise company in the coaching space. So I said, I'm just going to do for them what I did for myself. We did a turnaround situation in John's company and got it in a profit positive. Lisa's business, we took it from $80,000 to $10 million. It didn't take
Wow.
me 7 years, 20 years, because I was crying thinking I don't have 20 years. Like, I don't have 20 years to redo this. It took me 7 years to rebuild my wealth from where it was, because now I knew what to do and I knew what not to do. I wasn't so leveraged. I said, I'm not going to get that leveraged again. I'm not going to, yes, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm going to risk, but then there has to be the calculated risk. And so the gift that was wrapped in sandpaper was, if you do it once, you can do it again. Follow the system, right? Success leaves clues. I just went back to go, how did I build, multi-million dollar companies, from the salon to the membership site to the training and development company? How did I help my clients do that? And just did it for myself again to go, oh, I know how to do this, right? Once I could get my ego, because my ego was bruised, I got to come and tell you, Chad, I made millions. And that's the great part. But let me tell you how I lost millions. And so my girlfriend, Lisa Nichols, as I'm crying, she goes, "Okay, I know you lost 10 million, but I know you, girl. You are a pack rat. You got some money laying around." I'm like, "I do, but it's not what I had." She goes, "Whatever, how much do you have?" So I had cash. I had about $550,000. And she goes, "Oh, shut up. People would die to have $550,000. I'm like, "I know, but I lost 10 million. She goes, "Shut up. Suck it up. Do it again. Just do it for me like you did for you." I'm like, "I can do that." So you got to have your tribe, right? You got to have your community. You got to have your ride or dies that believe in you, because there's going to be times that you don't believe in yourself. There's going to be times where you
Mm,
fall down. Are you willing to get back up? And on your way up, are you willing to pick somebody else up? Like who can you surround yourself with when you forget who you are? Because you will always forget who you are. Your humanity gets in the way. My humanity got in my way, and I threw the baby out with the bathwater. And Lisa said to me, she said, Suze, like you didn't lose all the stuff you know how to do. You just lost some money. Like, this is your sweet spot. You know how to do this. I'm like, you are right. This is my sweet spot. I'm good at seeing money everywhere. Let's go make some money. And so the gift that was wrapped in sandpaper was really being strategic and really not over leveraging, and really realizing once you understand the system, you just repeat the system, right? And tweak the system. I believe business is like a combination lock. Remember the combination locks from school, right?
from high
Yeah.
school.
You
Sure.
got that
Yep.
one little tick off and that sucker won't open, right? And you would stand there,
Right.
and the more stress you got, the more it wouldn't open. That's business, right? You might have all the sales, the marketing, the operations, and finance, but one tick off. It could be your pricing. That tick, ooh, that tick. If your pricing is off, because we all pull our pricing out of our hiney. How much would you charge for that, Chad? How much would you pay for that? That's not a pricing strategy. That could bankrupt your business, right? Wrong marketing, marketing to fans versus marketing to qualified buyers, right? That's one
Mm,
tick, right? Look at
yep.
all the things you're doing and going, there's just a couple tweaks that if we put this in place, you can have a multi-million-dollar company tomorrow. I'm just going to say boom, boom,
There you go.
boom,
She's dropping the mic on that one,
boom.
folks, but I'm not done with her. There's more, right? Okay. So there's a lot of people out there, Susie, that have I don't want to say the wrong mindset about money, but we have a poor relationship maybe with money.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about that. How do we reshape that relationship, right? There's a lot of people who have been raised in oh, well, they're not good people because they have lots of money. They're right. So we grow up thinking, oh, we shouldn't have money, or I shouldn't help our audience here reshape their mindset when it comes to money.
Yeah. So first you have to realize, where does it come from? Right? So it comes from generational.
A tree in the backyard. That's what my dad always told me. It grows on trees, right?
Exactly. My dad said it didn't grow on trees. So your dad was right. Here's what I learned about money. There is none, don't ask, right? I grew up in a
Mm.
large family. There was 9 kids, 11 people, 1,200 square feet, 2 bedrooms, one bath. I don't know, where did we sleep, right?
They all would have fit in your guest house,
They
it
would
sounds
have
like.
all, that was the size of my home, right, growing up. But there was 9 kids, Bobby, Ronnie, Stevie, Terry, Joni, Shelley, Susie, Kelly, Debbie, right?
Good for
My
you.
dad was in the military, and so the gift he gave us was, listen, you can have it whatever you want, just go work hard. Now I had to reinvent that belief, because I believed I could do anything I wanted but work hard. Right? That came from generational, right? That came from his family and his parents and grandparents. So that it comes from a lineage of what's that mindset. I didn't grow up in a money
Right.
mindset, right? It comes from our churches, that spiritual belief. And that's what you were speaking to, Chad. Rich people are evil. Well, if I don't have money, I can't do good in the world. If I don't have money, I can't contribute my communities. If I don't have money, I can't support my children. If I don't have money, I can't support my causes that I want to do. Right. So you have to shift that. Then it also is male, female. Right. I have an expectation. Chad and I are getting together. He should pay for everything. He's the man. That's still in our society today. And men right now, younger men in the generation, are having this flip flop and not knowing how to be in relationships. You got to reinvent the money conversation. Right. What's the value we're each bringing to the relationship? Right. So then you have culture, right? Different cultures, like Hispanics, they don't use credit. Credit's not good. So they can't leverage that vehicle because they grew up, right? African Americans, doesn't matter what your credit score is, right? Whatever, that's not important. It's cultural stuff that we grow up inside of, right? If I look at the Asian population, save everything you make, save, save, save for a rainy day. Everything is like, how, do I need to spend that? Do I not? I need to save it. I need to save it. I need to save it, which is all good, right? Some of that's good and some of it's not good. So the first thing I had to realize is, what are my beliefs and what are my parents' beliefs? And then I had to shift my money conversation. I had to create a financial premise that I could live inside of, that excite me, right? That motivated me to do good in the world. I believe, Chad, that my gift to my life, my gift from God is my life. My gift back to God is, what do I do with my life? What's the difference I'm making in the world? Because each of us were put here to do something unique that only you can do, that nobody else can do. So I want you to look at, what is that gift? Then look at, what do I want my money beliefs to come to me? I say this prayer several times a day. And it's, I'm prosperous, I'm prosperous, I'm prosperous now. All that I have, all that I love, blesses and multiplies. So before I'm on an interview, I say this prayer. When I write my tax check, taxes to the IRS, I say this prayer because I'm prosperous. It's going to come back for me tenfold. I know it's going to come back. When I pay a bill, when I receive money, right, I bless that money to go, I want to keep this conversation going. Versus most of us, if you think about your mindset around money, it's, I don't have any, it's not enough, it's too expensive, I can't afford it. That's most of our dominant conversation around money. But money is an energy, right? And money is, it's just a transaction of the value we're giving to each other. So if money's an energy, how am I creating it, or how am I repelling it? Right? So we do a whole money exercise that looks at your cellular level of what are your inherited beliefs about money. I'm telling you, that is a banana training. When I first did that, stuff I'd been working on for years was still showing up, right? Like, you have to work hard for money. Dude, I've been working on that for so long. Like, really, can I let that one go? But until you know, you keep repeating that past and you keep repeating that pattern. We got to break the patterns, but that takes you being conscious. That takes you being willing. That takes you looking at, well, what is my relationship? Do I have a healthy relationship? And here was the caveat for me. I could make a lot of money, but I was having a really hard time keeping it. Then I worked with this money coach, and we realized that money is a masculine energy. And she goes, so Susie, you're resisting the masculinity in your life. So what relationships are you resisting? Well, hi, I have a graveyard of men in my life, right? From my husband to my dad, right? Trying to feel approved, to go, I've got to clean up those relationships and be okay with the masculine energy and embrace it. And go there. What I love about men is they're strong and they're independent. And on the flip side, it can be discerned as controlling and manipulative, right? But I'm putting controlling and manipulative. Men are amazing. Men are a gift. They just want to serve us. And I love, it's so simple. Just tell me what you need, baby, and I'll do it. Like, it cannot be that easy. Yes, it can. Right? So when I realized money is that energy to go, wow, how can I have a healthy relationship with this and not a controlling relationship? Because I was controlling money too. Money defined me. Money was like one of my success indicators, but that's not fulfilling. What I do with my money is a success indicator. How I serve my community, how I give back, how I pour into my students, how I pour into the charities, the organizations that I love and adore, from battered women to children who are raising their self-esteem, to all that journey that I had to walk through, to go, you're not alone. And that's what our financial resources provide for us. That's the bigger reason of why I make money. It's not about a house. It's not about a car. Who cares? Right? It's nice, but the reality, there's such a bigger play that can happen in the world.
Wow. And we're not done with you yet. Often this is one of my last questions. We're not done with you, but I got to go to this because you just set me up perfectly for it.
Boom.
Right here at Win Make Give in season 2, we are living up to that give of Win Make Give. And what we're doing, Susie, is we are donating for every listen this episode gets in the first 30 days. We're going to match, and we're going to send money to a charity of your choice as our guest today. So what charity are we going to help with the listens that this episode
Come
earns?
on now. That's boom. That's about contribution. So I have a company that I've been supporting for 20 years, right? It's been maybe even longer. Her name is Halise Bridges, and she owns blueribbons.org, right? Difference makers. And she teaches young adults how to have integrity-based conversations, how to stop bullying, how to love themselves, how to appreciate themselves. And so we help youth really have high self-esteem and high self-worth so that they can become responsible adults in the world. Like, it is a phenomenal cause, a phenomenal program that every single training I do, I'm involved in it. I support that charity. I support her because we're teaching our youth how to be responsible human beings and how to have relationships with their parents and other adults, so that giving them those skill sets we wish we all had.
Wow. Okay. Well, one, we love giving back. Two, we love helping youths become good adults. And boy, your conversation with wealth is one that those youths need to hear as well. So we look forward to everybody listening to this episode. go share it with 10 people.
Yeah.
Right? If you're listening to it, go share it with 10 people, because that's 10 more people. And if those 10 all share it with 10, we get to make a larger donation to this group on your behalf. We're all for it. Okay. Let's jump back into this a little bit. You mentioned, I heard the terms go by, you didn't have a wealth plan when you first started. Money was coming in, but there wasn't a wealth plan.
Yes.
Talk to our audience about a wealth plan. How can they create one? What is a wealth plan from Susie's perspective, and how do they go about starting it, creating it, and following that plan?
Well, the first thing you have to decide is, what is wealth for you? Wealth for me is different than wealth for you. You have to really define what is that number. Everybody goes to, I want to make 100 grand, or I want to make $1 million. Okay, but I'm aligned with either one, right? You got to start somewhere. And to go, if we want to look at when you retire, what are the resources you want to be able to provide? For me, I wanted security, right? I never wanted to feel like I felt when I left, and that 6-month-old baby and that 18-month-old baby, and we're sleeping literally on the little futons on the ground, right? Going, this is my situation, right? Feeling desperate, feeling I don't know how I'm going to provide for my children. So for me, my wealth strategy was, I never want to put myself in that situation again. That gave me the motivation. You got to have motivation bigger than just $1 million. So first was survival. If you go back to school, remember we had the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Remember that model, right? The bottom one was survival, food, shelter, clothing, right? So we got to get out of food, shelter, and clothing and go to the next level, which is security. So once food, shelter, clothing is handled, that's your base wealth strategy. So if you need to make 50,000, 100,000, 250,000, whatever that safety is, so you don't have to feel like, oh, I'm going to get kicked out, right? And it depends on where you are in the world, where you are in the country, where you are. Like LA, $80,000 a year is poverty line. So, okay, our wealth strategy has to be higher, right? Versus somewhere else in Indiana, it's not as high, right? Then the next level is security. And so you have to go, what's security for me? How much money do I need to put in the bank, right? Statistics say you need at least 6 months in the bank of survival costs, right? To go, this, now I'm secure. Once that's secure, then you have to go, well, what's my strategy? How much money do I need when I retire? And I know y'all think I'm too young, right? I did too, but I started at 27. That account that I started when 27 was the thing that saved me when we had the financial collapse. That original one, me being consistent, putting a little bit of money every single month, you start looking at compound interest, right? Now, I don't do that. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an accountant. I'm a rogue entrepreneur going, let me help you make the money. Then we're going to bring people in to help you manage your assets, right? But it's all about building that wealth. It's all about having that money accessible to you. So once you're done with security, then you go to belonging, right? That's when you start looking at, where's my tribe? Where's my community? What do I want to support? What kind of charities would I support? Well, what's my bigger cause, right? And how much money do I need to fund that bigger cause? And that bigger cause could be just your business. My why is originally my children. It's still my children, right? That's my why I work hard, is I want them to have a different opportunity than I had, which was go get married, go get a job. That's not a good strategy. That relies on somebody else, right? The go get married part. That's not his responsibility. It's my responsibility. So again, looking at that belonging, like, where are my people? You got to hang around the like-minded people. We've all heard the saying, who are the 5 people you're hanging out with? Because that's the sum of who you are. I'm very protective of my time, very protective of my space, because I know that negativity is so powerful, right? We have a rule with our girlfriends that if we go out, you cannot bag on your man. Can't bag on your man around me. You can share if you're having a breakdown, but you want to break through, but you're not going to gossip about him. It's too hard to be in a relationship if you have agreement that he's a potato head, right? If they're like, he is a potato head, right? So it's like, no, not on my watch. I'm going to remind you, like I'm going to remind Chad's wife why she married him, because he's amazing. He's a love bug. He's a contributor. He's committed. Yes, he's imperfect. He's a human being, but so are you, right? I think so many times we just point the finger, but that's part of wealth strategy, to go, who are the people I'm hanging out, or are they walking their talk? Right? So many people get caught up in what other people have. What do you want to, what do you need? What's the thing for you? And let's not get, every now and then I get caught up and I get house envy. I have a beautiful home. I've created this beautiful sanctuary. It feels like I'm on vacation. And then every now and then I was with my girlfriend, JJ Virgin. She just bought this beautiful, huge house in Florida. And I'm like, I think I need a beautiful house in Florida. I'm like, hell no, I don't want the house payment. That is not in my wealth plan, right? I could afford that house, but it's not in my wealth plan, right? My plan is
Okay.
this house is almost paid off, right? Like that is in my wealth plan. Because again, I go back to, I never want to feel that way again. So I want you to look at what are the things that would fill your soul, what are the things that'll fill the mission and purpose that you have? And then what's the finances we need around it to support those things? Now you'll want to get out of bed. Now you'll want to call people you're scared to call. Now you'll want to do sales calls. Now you're going to be radical in asking for someone's help or saying, can I be on this podcast? Or how can I serve your community? Because now you have this bigger goal than just money. Money's not enough. I got to tell you, money is not enough. Like, I love it, but it's not the thing that motivates me. It's the thing I get to do with it that motivates me.
It's powerful you say that, and it's probably true to everybody,
Right.
right? They might not realize it, and they might just think, no, it's money, it's money, it's money. Yet it's always, what are we going to do with that money? And that might be retirement, that might be that security, but it's always, what are we doing with that money? It's not the money itself.
Right. I remember being in Italy. I was traveling on a couchette. That sounds so fancy, right? That's basically a train that you sleep in. But it was a couchette, and I was journal writing. And so I'm journal writing, and I'm just crying. I'm like, I want to have girlfriends that I can travel with, right? That can come with me. And then the next line was, I need girlfriends, right? Because I'd been so
Mm,
busy being busy raising children and like, where's my community? I kind of looked around and there wasn't anyone, right? It was just me leading this force. And, I had clients, but not those people that could really support me when I'm having a hard time. Right. So those things are cultivated. Friends are cultivated. Business partners are cultivated. They don't just happen. It's work, right? Just as much it is to cultivate clients, it's just important to cultivate partners that will help you win along the way, right? Trusted
mm,
advisors. In my camp and in my circle, I've got several different coaches. I got three financial coaches, right? One, a tax strategist, a CPA, and then my retirement strategist, right? So three of those people I meet quarterly to look at, am I on track? Am I not on track? Right? What's my bigger vision? What's my bigger purpose? Am I saving enough? Right? Am I leveraging enough? Am I risking enough? But somebody has to guide you in that. Right. Again, I'm not a
right.
CPA or accountant. So people go, oh, well, you just know. No, I had to learn this the hard way. I'm losing money, making money, figuring it out, and going, let's make it easier for all you. I've created spreadsheets for everything for me. And then my clients would say, can I have that spreadsheet? I'm like,
How much will you pay for it?
I'm like, you want my spreadsheet? It's really just my rogue entrepreneur spreadsheet because I had to make sense of the things my CPAs were giving me, right? Because I felt like the idiot in these meetings. I'm like, I don't like feeling like an idiot. So how do I make this so entrepreneur language, that I understand it from even as simple as your base price worksheet? How much are you charging and why are you charging? Right? Most people are undercharging because they're not looking at the overhead. They're going, what did Chad charge? What did Susie charge? What does Bob charge? What does Kevin charge? What does Melanie charge? And then they go, okay, I'm going to charge this. Well, that's a piece of it, right? That's market comparison, but that's not the issue. The issue is, what am I spending? What's my overhead? And if you're on a high growth strategy, that overhead is higher and it grows fast. If you price your prices based on where you are today, you're out of business, right? You can grow too slow or grow too fast and go out of business.
Mm,
So it's how is it going to work for you to create a sustainable model so you're empowered to look at the math, you're empowered to look at the numbers so they make sense for you. And I'm going to say, ask the question until you get the answer that satisfies you. I don't care if I look like a ding dong, you're going to answer it until I understand it. Because too many times in our life, we go, someone will give us the answer, Chad will say something so prolific, and I'll go, okay, because I feel stupid. To go, wait a minute, hold on, I don't understand. I don't understand. We weren't trained to ask questions because we got penalized in school. If we had the wrong answer, we got, oh no, that's not right, Susie. They go the next kid, and you just feel like a ding dong. Well, I'm never raising my hand again. But now as
right.
adults to go, well, what is it? How do I do this? Right. So I want you to really take ownership of your own financial wealth. Right. Again, I have three financial coaches. I have two business coaches. I have a personal development coach, aka therapist, right? That support me in my life. I've got a fitness coach. I've got a health coach. And I don't use them all at the same time. I'm not that cuckoo, right? But I plug into when I need it. When do I need my financial coaches? Every quarter. I'm having meetings with them, looking at it, right? I'm working with my health coach on a quarterly basis as well. my fitness coach. We're checking in to go, where are you at? I got to have that accountability. Like I'm squirrel, I'm sparkle. Let's go play something else. And if I don't have accountability, I'm rogue. I'm ignorance on fire. Right? You got to have somebody corralling, all that energy so that I can go in the right direction. And that's most entrepreneurs. That's why we're genius, right? That's what's good about us is we have all that energy, we have all that creativity. And if it's not funneled in the right way, we're broke. Again, 88% of small businesses making less than 100 grand. 2.5% are doing $500,000. 1.7, $1 million. Join us in the $1 Million Club. So much easier. You're working too hard. It's lonely up here. Come join us. It's funner up here. We have more resources to do fun things in the world, right?
Awesome. And on that, you just brought this to a beautiful close with all of that. Yeah, come join that club. So Susie, some of our audience members are sitting there and they're like, dang, I need more Susie.
Yes.
How do they get more Susie? Where do they go? How do they find you other than just going and ordering Power Your Profits online so that they can read your latest book?
Yeah. So you want to just follow my name, Susie Carder, SUSIECARD as in dollar and dinero, ER.com. It's
well done. Yes.
all my social handles is my name, right? So you can find me, Google me, right? Go to our website, susiecarder.com, because I give you about $5,000 worth of bonuses. Those secret spreadsheets I was telling you, when you buy the book there, you get those as a bonus. I've got some amazing bonuses for you. And it's really, Chad, my journey of growing a $10 million business. Right. Again, it doesn't have to be hard. It just has to be strategic. So I bootstrapped my first several businesses, doing it wrong, doing it right. So I really laid out the blueprint. But here's what I want you to know. If you suck at math, go to chapter 8. Math is money, money is fun. Don't start at chapter 1. Go where you suck at. If you suck at sales, go to chapter 6, our selling system, because I give you my $100,000 script. What do I mean by that? I closed $100,000. I closed $150,000 last week by using the script. I've been using it for 25 years. I pull up my script. I read my script because I know me. I'm a coach. I want to coach you. I want to fix you. I want to show you how good I am. Not time to show you how good I am right now. It's time to listen, find the need, fill the need, make the recommendation, and then I can show you all the magic I can provide for you. So wherever your business is, go right to that chapter. You don't have to follow it in numerical order. Just go to where your pain point is. Let's fix the pain point. Let's raise the level of your business. But more importantly, let's be in radical action and do something after this podcast, right? Do something. Share this podcast. Share it with a friend. Share the message because there's too many lonelypreneurs out there. We need to band together, stick together, grow together, and more importantly, prosper together. Because I'm your sister in the journey. I'm the prophet.
I love it. She wants to take us all along on this journey, folks, and you can feel the energy coming through whatever speaker it is you're listening to, because I can definitely feel it. Folks, we want you to come to our Facebook group too, facebook.com/group/winmakegive, where of course you can tell us what you're going to take away and implement from this conversation. You can let us know what your takeaway was from all the wonderful things Susie just shared with us. Susie, on behalf of Bob and Ben, who are not here because basically I ditched them, thank you for joining us on Win Make Give today. For our audience, I know they're saying a huge thank you to you. Many of them will start finding you on social sites or come to your website to check out what you have there. Watch for them. Folks, we want you to share this episode, like Susie said, not just to help people fix their relationship with money, but so that we can also make a larger donation on behalf of Win Make Give to the charity Susie has selected. So share this one, check this one out again. And folks, until our next episode, as always, do good.